Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn how to use the Azure Data Explorer command activity in Azure Data Factory. So this activity can be used to run multiple commands, and those commands are the ones are called the control commands. So if we take a look at what type of commands it can execute, let me take you right here, and you have tons of commands here. So you're going to go to the control commands overview. I will put the link in the description. So here you can let's say if you want to see the tables, so dot show tables, dot show tables here. Then you can set a table, and you're gonna, maybe this is just setting a variable value, but it doesn't really matter. But then you can ingest the data. So they see right there, ingest from the blob storage. So right here, this is one of the command dot ingest into table from the blob storage. So you can do that as well. So any commands which are control commands, they can be executed from Azure Data Explorer activity. In the previous video, I used copy activity to read the data from the Azure Data Explorer and write to the blob storage, and the vice versa. So I have done that. But here, let's say you want to create a table. So you can't do that in the copy activity. You want to drop the table in Azure Data Explorer. You cannot do that. So those things has to be done here in the Azure Data Explorer command. So let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, here is my Azure Data Explorer. So if I click here, it's going to open right there. That's the cluster. It's Azure Data Explorer cluster. Now in the cluster, I have databases. In the databases, I have only one database called the TechbrothersIT. So click right there, click on query, and then what you're going to do here, you're going to see this database here. Now if I can open in a web UI, so it's going to open a brand new window here, and I can see my database here, and I can see the table here. So let's open a new query. Let's say if I go right here, plus sign, and if I want to drop the table, so it's called drop table, and I can say total sale. Okay, so in this case, if I execute, it should drop the table. So you guys can see that right there, total sale execute. Okay, this table does not exist anymore, so that's why it cannot drop. Okay, so if I want to create the tables, this is how I do. Say dot create table and table name. So I can say total sale and then ID colon integer. So this is how you will be creating a table. Once you create a table, you're going to see right there. So these are called control commands. So this, if you need to create a table, drop a table, or you need to read the data by using say dot ingest. Okay, so this means that this is a control command that can ingest the data into table from blob storage or some other sources. So now what we are going to do here, we are going to experiment and learn how to use these commands in Azure Data Factory. So here my Azure Data Factory is, let's go to the new pipeline, and in the pipeline I'm going to go ahead and bring Azure Data Explorer. So right there, and here we go to the connection. In the connection, I will go to the new, and then I have to create the connection for my Azure Data Explorer cluster. So I will select here call the manage identity, because I already have added Azure Data Factory as manager entity to the role here. So how did I do that? Let me show you right there. So if I go to the portal here, I go to the Azure Data Explorer cluster. I went to the access control, and in the access control, I went to the add role assignments, and here I selected a role such as contributor, and then I hit next, and then select manage entity. Then I selected my Azure Data Factory here, and then I added, so right there. Okay, so if I will try to add that again, it might give me error because I already have added, but this is what you will be doing. Another part what I have done, I went to the databases, and I have click on the database, and then I have provided the permission. So I also added Azure Data Factory as admin here, so database admin, because I could have given a different permission such as ingest and other, but I gave a database admin. So if you go right there and see right there, admin, viewer, user, monitor, ingester, and unrestricted viewer. So there are tons of different type of permissions available. But in my case, I went ahead and I did the database admin because my Azure Data Factory might perform a lot of different tasks. Okay, so this is good. Now we have the permissions. Let's go back to Azure Data Factory here, manage identity, then I select my subscription and select my cluster. So this is my Azure Data Explorer cluster. Now I have to select my database. It's called TechbrothersDB. Okay, so now I should test my connection, and it is successful right there. And I can give some proper name, maybe ADX, okay, and Brothers DB. So that should work just fine, and now I can create. Now my connection is created, and I will be creating. Sorry, this is our Tech Brothers ID, Tech Brother DB link services right there. Okay. Now we go to the command. In the command, remember it says dot show table take 5. So that means it is going to ask you for control commands. So in this case, if I will say dot show tables and even take 5. Okay, I don't have take 5 because I do not have 5 tables, right? I have only one table right there. So if I execute this, it's going to return me the list of the tables. So now you can see right there, that's a command it is running, and if I will just wait and then hit output, you can see that it is giving me table name TotalSale because it's only having one table. Okay, so in the value and count is 1. If I would have more, then it will give me more. Now let's create a table here. So let me make this a little big, and we are going to create a sample table. Dot create table and sample table, and here I will say ID colon. I can do integer or long depending on my data type, name, and I can do string. Okay, and this should work just fine. And now we can go ahead and execute. Now if I go back here and see, there is no sample table as of now. Once that will execute, it will show me sample table. So let's go right there, take a look if Azure Data Factory is completing. It's failed. So let's see what happened here. It says that bad request, invalid and cannot be executed. The request is the dot create table sample table ID and longs name. Yeah, see right there, there is a colon missing. So I wrote very bad statement right there. So in after the name, I should put a colon. So if you guys see right there, this is what I needed to do, colon right there. Okay. So now if I execute, I should be fine. The command has been successfully, and this is the now if I go back to my database, I should have a table called the sample table. See right there, ID and name. So there are this table is created. Same way, if I want to drop the table, I can use this statement here, or there are other any command control type commands that can be run there. So if I will just want to drop it, I will say dot drop and then table name. I don't have to provide the list of the columns. I can debug, and that should work just fine. So Azure Data Explorer command can be used to run a different type of control statements or commands. Now let's go back and take a look, and here we should not have that sample table anymore. So click right there, refresh, and the table is gone. Now what we are going to do here, first we are going to create our table here called the create table, total sale, ID, this and these are all the columns, and I'm going to create this table. Okay, let's first drop this table because this could be possibility I have messed up with some column names. So now this table is created, and if I need to select the data from this table, I'm going to say total sale, and this is select star from table. This is the command. Simply put the table name and just run. It will get you all the columns and values. As of now, there is no data in this table. What I would like to do every time I run my statement in the Azure Data Factory, I would love to read the data from one of the blob storage. And here is my blob storage. You go to containers here, input, and there is a file called the total sale. Maybe somebody dropped this file every day, and I would like to run this Azure Data Factory pipeline and load this file. So what I can do here, I'm going to show you the data, and this has all this data here. And what I would like to do, I'm going to use Azure Data Explorer to run the statements. So how we will be preparing the statements, so that's a question. So this is how it is going to be. So you're going to say dot ingest into table name, and that's our table. Then you're going to say h single quote http, that's the Tech Brothers storage, that blob, and then we put this blob storage name. Then your rest of this is going to be same blob.core.windows.net input, and this is a total CSV. So that's a path for CSV file, right? And after that, you are going to provide this question mark, and then here you are going to provide the entire SaaS token. How you do that? Let's go back and take a look. Here in the input container, we have total sale file, and then you're gonna say generate SAS. Okay, now here generate SS token and URL. So then you're gonna copy this blob SS token, copy right there, go back to the our SSMS, and in my case I'm gonna make this small so I can just delete this whole thing. So I was experimenting and delete till here after the question mark, and see right there, this is the path you're gonna have it, https:// this is your blob storage name, TechbrothersIT storage in my case. Rest of that, this is a hard coded value. Then this is your container name input in my case, and this is your file name. After that question mark, and then SAS token. Okay, so this is good. Now if I can take this whole thing as it is from here to here, if I go back here and go to the my Azure Data Explorer, and here is my query, right? So what I can do, I can simply actually run right here, and it will load the data from my blob storage into my table. So I can go ahead and run it, and the data is loaded. So let's run it, select query kind of. So now you see the data is there. Okay, so but we don't want to do that. We don't want to come here and every day run it. We want to schedule it. And how you schedule it? You run into the Azure Data Factory and then schedule those pipelines. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to drop the table again, and then I'm going to recreate the table, so there will be no data in the table. And see right there, I executed total sale, no data is here. And let's copy this statement. Now let me take you to the Azure Data Factory here, and right there we are going to put in the Azure Data Explorer command. So ingest into table total sale, and here is the path, right? So you can build this, you can maybe have a lookup and get the list of the files and change that dynamically and everything. You can do tons of things here, but in my case I'm just hard coding for one file. Maybe it is also one of the valid scenario where you get a file every day, and that's overwritten in the blob storage, and then from there you write to the Azure Data Explorer cluster. Let's execute, and after executing you can see that that's the value, items loaded. Okay, so everything is good. Now we go back to the Azure Data Explorer and take a look. So total sale, run, and then once you run it, the records are loaded. So this is how you will be using Azure Data Explorer command in Azure Data Factory to run the control commands such as in .ingest, .show, .drop, there are tons of them as you can see right here. You can also export the data from your maybe core store to the blob storage, say in .export. There are those statements right there. See, data export. So you can use something like this as well. So I try to use .export that can be used to write the data to the blob storage from your Azure Data Explorer database. So I hope this video is helpful. What I will do, I will just put these statements in the description so you can test this out and learn from here. I thank you watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel, and I will see you guys in next video.